Dating all the way back to the 1960s, Formula Ford has always been one of the leading lights in terms of single-seater categories here in the UK. These days, Formula Ford has a very different look, but the 1600 Kent engine cars are still out there in numbers. And we're here for 4 races this weekend at Oulton Park to determine the Wallpaper Central Autumn Trophy champion. The inaugural Autumn Trophy marks the final event of what's been another successful year for this most established of championships.
We're in our 32nd year now. It's one of the longest standing championships in the UK, and we have great heritage, and it's still the strongest supported Formula Ford 1600 Kent engine championship in the country. We have 5 classes of cars, A through to E. E cars are pre-1984, Class D cars are from the start of 1984, Class C cars from the start of 1987, B from the start of 90 and Class A from 1999. So there's 5 classes. We then split those into 2 grids. The A's and B's make up the post-89 and the C, D and E for the pre-90. So we've got guys competing for overall categories pre and post, but also there's competition in each of the classes as well, so everybody's got something to race for.
Not that you'd know looking at them, but some of the cars racing here this weekend are pushing 30 years old.
My car is a Van Diemen RF86. That was the year it was built, and at that time all the Grand Prix drivers, or all the aspiring Grand Prix drivers, would have gone through that. And as a formula for good competitive racing, I don't think it's ever been topped.
The end of the sort of 80s car, as I say, I won the championship in was a 90 car, and in my experience driving them, they're the ones that do it for me, really. The very latest cars are very good, but the older cars, you can chuck them around a bit more and a bit more fun to drive.
Oulton Park is a classic circuit celebrating its 60th anniversary. It remains hugely popular.
It's marvellous. We have some nice circuits. Everybody's talking about Spa and Zandvoort, and they are nice circuits. But this is old school. This is a circuit where you have to have respect, because if you go off here, it's going to hurt physical and financial. And if you go off at Spa these days, there's a big parking lot. Yeah, your lap time is ruined, but you live another day. So here the build-up to quicker times is much harder than it is at the other circuits. And also I brought my family here, and they are also impressed with how it looks like. You know, it's really a park, and it's all neat, and you can see it's old, but it's still well maintained.
Time for the first of 2 races for the post-89 Formula Fords, where David MacArthur will start from pole. He was 6/10 quicker than Martin Short, who joins him on the front row. The poleman's younger brother, Tom MacArthur, starts right behind him in 3rd, with Stuart Jones, Ian Parkington and Nigel Dolan completing the top 6 on the grid. The aggregate results of both races will determine the Autumn Trophy champion. On board with Martin Short then, as the red lights come on, they go out and the race gets underway here. It looks like a decent start on board with Martin. But what about David MacArthur from pole position? He's alongside, he's got the inside line, but it's Martin Short who goes around the outside into Old Hall to take the lead of the race. The pole position man, David MacArthur, tucks into 2nd place. Tom MacArthur, his brother in the number 17 car, is there in 3rd position. Then Stuart Jones in the number 30 Van Diemen holding on to 4th position. Nigel Dolan, I think, picking up a place. He's the one that's moved forward from 6th to 5th. On board with number 30, Stuart Jones then, who is there in 4th place, with Tom MacArthur just ahead of him as he comes now into Island Bend. Great shot this, as he hangs onto the steering wheel, then gets ready to deaccelerate and drop down the gears on the way into the Shell Oils hairpin, and sliding wide there is number 17, Tom MacArthur, just in front of him. So a place gifted then to Stuart Jones, who picks up 3rd position. A lock-up, a mistake under cold tyres from Tom MacArthur, and he slips back to 4th place. Then indeed it is number 8, the other white car of Nigel Dolan, which is just behind the pair of them. Already though, you can see the 2 leaders here beginning to get away. David MacArthur was fastest in qualifying with a time of 1 minute 48.3, a 1:49.0 for Martin Short. He was 6/10 slower, but it's Martin who's got the lead of the race here. And you can see the green car number 50, Ian Parkington, which has made a reasonable start to the race, running inside the top 5. On board then with the race leader, Martin Short, who was only fractionally quicker than Tom MacArthur in qualifying, and that was what got him onto the front row of the grid by less than 1/10 of a second, and he made it count with one of his customary flying starts. So Martin Short leading as they come down into Lodge for the first time. Then MacArthur, then it's side by side for 3rd place with Tom MacArthur, the younger of the two brothers, trying to come back now at this red Van Diemen of Stuart Jones. Stuart having got past him on the first lap when Tom made that mistake on the way into the hairpin, the start of lap number 2, and he's gone through luck. So number 17, MacArthur, gets his 3rd place back without too much of a fight from Stuart Jones, and that was all about the exit speed coming out through Lodge and then Deerleap. And then by the time they got to the braking zone for Old Hall at the start of the next lap, he'd already got the position sorted out. Now, Nigel Dolan, who made a decent start to the race, is a long, long way back. He's lost 20-odd seconds somewhere on that first lap, so he's right at the back of the field now, with a lot of work to do to catch everybody else up. There's the battle for the lead of the race then. Martin Short leading by just a fraction, making his way through the first of 2 chicanes through this back part of the course, over Hilltop and then down towards the Knickerbrook chicane. But look behind him, David MacArthur having a little look down the inside here. This is a 50-50 chance in terms of overtaking. It can get through there, but it's always very tight on the way into that chicane, and it's very early in the race to be making any bold moves, so I think wisely backed off out of that one. There's Ian Parkinson then trying to catch up with the podium position battlers and get himself up there. Now, this is a replay of that move from number 17, Tom MacArthur, to get 3rd place back. Pretty straightforward move. There wasn't really much that Stuart Jones could do about it. Stuart there in the red Van Diemen, and through came the number 17 to get that 3rd place back. So Tom MacArthur back to 3rd, 4th place Stuart Jones, number 30, and then we've said a couple of times now Ian Parkinson, number 50, rounding out the top 5 finishers. So the question now is, can Tom MacArthur, now that he's got back to 3rd position, do anything about the top 2? There they are, and there he is. And the gap's about 2 seconds, but you can see he's already starting to sprint away from Stuart Jones, who in turn is a couple of seconds clear of Ian Parkinson there in the number 50 car. And look at this, a challenge for the lead of the race through Island Bend, and David MacArthur is back through. So back into the lead of the race goes the driver that started from pole position, on board with Martin Short, who now has somebody to try and chase and catch if he wants to get this race victory. There's number 42, Tom Hodgson, novice driver in his first ever season of competition, there in 7th place. Sorry, 6th place is number 45, Steve Chapman. He's 6th because Nigel Dolan slipped back on that first lap. Over Hilltop come the top 2. The gap might be, I think, creeping down between 2nd and 3rd. And then Stuart Jones there, who was a champion of the Avon Tars Formula Ford 1600 Northern Championship last season. So on board with Martin Short, this is a replay of the move which saw David MacArthur getting back into the lead of the race. He'd done all the hard work on the previous corner, coming out through Knickerbrook. So he's pulled away for the last couple of laps of the race. David MacArthur, since getting that lead, has posted some very quick lap times, and he comes out through Deerleap for the final time now. And it's he who's going to win the first race of the weekend here in the post-89 category. Confirmation then of the top 6, with David MacArthur finishing 2 seconds clear of Martin Short. Tom MacArthur completes the podium ahead of Stuart Jones and Ian Parkinson, with Tom Hodgson the Class B winner. Let's hear now some reaction from our top 3 drivers.
You always find if you end up having a mega tangle at the start, everyone can come with you, but Martin went off quick enough. I stuck with him, so that was good. And then when I felt we had a big enough gap behind us, I started nosing him a little bit, and eventually got a great run out of Cascades and just drove past him really. So yeah, it was a good, clean race.
I got a good start, which I tend to do, but I think it was only a matter of time really before he made the move, and there was no point in tangling us both up and both of us finishing up in the barrier. So yeah, I was happy to come home second. It's good as far as the championship's concerned, and certainly from a team point of view, to get a 1-2-3 today is absolutely fantastic. It's just been a great day up to now.
Yeah, it's a fun track, and it's my local track as well, so it's kind of a home win for my brother anyway, and a home podium for me.
Time for a short break now, but we'll be back with plenty more racing and action from Oulton Park in a few minutes' time.